morning, students. Today, after we have completed one poem, you'll have done the poem, The Dolphin, and one short story, that is the story Salvatore from your books. We come to our third book and the main book, that is The Tempest. Now, The Tempest, as you were told before also, from The Tempest, the first question is compulsory, that is for you all to attempt the extracts. Like in class 10 you all had extracts, that is reference to context. You all will be getting extracts from this particular play also. Along with extracts, which is a compulsory part of the paper, you all will be getting long answers from The Tempest. So The Tempest, out of all the three books, is the main book where you all can score marks, where maximum questions are asked also. Today we will be starting our play, The Tempest. Now, before I start the paragraph and the explaining and act 1, scene 1 as you all have done in class 10, I would like to give a brief introduction to this particular play also. As the play written by Shakespeare is given the name The Tempest, so you all can get an idea what this play is all about. Basically, if I ask you the meaning of a tempest, actually a tempest, many of you will know it, some might not know. Well, the meaning of a tempest is a storm at sea. A storm at sea. Now, the entire play written by Shakespeare is revolving around a particular storm at sea that was created with the power of magic. So that's it there. Now, like in your class 10, you all had a play by Shakespeare. You all had to know from The Merchant of Venice all the main characters of the play. Here also, if you all have the books, open it out. Our first objective will be for you all to know who is who here. Okay, so I'll just explain regarding the main characters of the play here. And the main character I will also tell you. We have the first character, that is Alonso. He is the king of Naples. Naples is a place in Italy. This tempest that was created also was created in the Mediterranean Sea, where this particular country lies, that is Italy. Okay, so we have the first character, that is Alonso, who happens to be the king of Naples. After that, we have Sebastian, his brother. Now, if Sebastian is Alonso's brother, that is Sebastian is a prince, because Alonso is a king. They all are royalty, belonging to the royal family. After that, we have Ferdinand, a very important character, Ferdinand, who happens to be king of Naples' son, that is Alonso's son. Okay, Ferdinand is the son of Alonso. Again, he is a prince also. Then you have another character by the name of Antonio. We had in Merchant of Venice also, we have another character, Antonio here, who is the usurping Duke of Milan. See the word usurping. Usurping is a word meaning to take something by force. Ya jabardasti. Hindi mein it is jabardasti, right? So Antonio is the usurping Duke of Milan. That is, right now he is on the seat of Milan as a duke, but he has usurped this dukedom. That is, he has taken this dukedom by force. And who has he taken it from? He has taken this dukedom from his own brother, elder brother, imagine, from his own elder brother Prospero. He has snatched this dukedom away from Prospero. He is the evil character or the villain in this particular play. Then you have another character, Gonzalo, an honest old counselor. Counselor is like advisor. and he was the counselor to Prospero, who was the Duke of Milan. Very honest, very sincere in his working. Then you have Adrian, Francisco, who are lords. Lords are belonging to royalty, high family. Then you have another character, Trinculo, a jester. Jester is a joker. In Merchant of Venice also you had a joker, a part played by the jokers also there. Here also we have Trinculo, who is a jester, who brings laughter, entertainment in the play. Then you have Stefano, a drunken butler. He is all are given these roles to play. Stefano is a drunken meaning nashebaj. Butler meaning a servant who serves the food on the table. Okay. Then you have master. Master could also be referred to the captain of a ship, a king's ship. Then you have Prospero. Now Prospero is the main character in this play, and he is the rightful Duke of Milan. That is the actual Duke of Milan, whose dukedom was forcefully snatched away from his hands by his own brother with the help of the King of Naples. Okay. Then you have Miranda, his daughter. Whose daughter? Prospero's daughter. Miranda, his daughter. Then you have Ariel. Ariel, that is an airy spirit. See, Ariel, airy spirit. That is, Ariel is a spirit. Spirit meaning Atma. That is controlled by the power of Prospero. Controlled by the power of Prospero with his magical power. Then you have another character by the name of Caliban, a savage and a deformed slave. Now basically Caliban was on this island where this entire sequence of events is taking place even before the arrival of Prospero. He is deformed, half human, half fish. Remind it, half human, half fish. And he is like a slave to Prospero here. Then you have Iris. These are like goddesses, messenger of gods. Ceres, goddess of fertility. Juno, queen of the gods. Okay, so basically these are your different characters. From time to time, different scenes, different acts, they will be coming to prominence. They will be highlighted in their different scenes where they are being given. Before we start Act 1, Scene 1, I would also like to give you all a brief summary of Act 1, Scene 1. Okay. Now the summary is very important, so you'll get an overall idea of this particular scene. What is happening, who are the main character, where this particular scene is taking place. Okay. So the main summary of this Act 1, Scene 1 is the play opens on the ship. The entire play, the starting, the introduction is opened and to us where we see the characters are on a ship. The main characters are on a ship. And there is this terrible storm at sea, or you can also refer it to the tempest. And this particular ship is stuck in the middle of this tempest, swaying from side to side, very uneven, in a very precarious condition. Okay, the captain of the ship asks the boatswain to tell the crew to fight the storm courageously. Now the captain of this particular ship is telling his sailors on board to have courage, to do their best, and they will come out of this tempest. But the tempest is so strong, is so powerful, that these people are having a very difficult time to control the ship. This is the introduction, Act 1, Scene 1. As the boatswain gives orders to the sailors, the royal passengers in the ship grow panicky and rush towards the deck. Now, while this tempest is taking place, the captain and his team are trying their level best to control the ship, to keep it afloat. All the royal personages on the ship, that is Alonso, Antonio, Ferdinand, and other royalty, they are very, very worried, and they are getting nervous because in their mind the tempest is so strong, the likelihood is that their ship could be sunk. So they are trying to talk to the captain and his men to be more vigilant, to be more careful, because the captain should know the royalty that is on the ship. This particular ship belongs to the King of Naples. It's a royal ship. Okay. Anyway, the sailors are doing their best there. Alonso, the King of Naples, talks to the boatswain, but he is hardly respectful towards the king in such troubled circumstances. Now, all these people are nervous and they're trying to talk to the sailors, to the captain. But in such a situation, even the captain is worried, and his main work here is to keep that ship afloat, prevent it from being destroyed, and worst comes to worst, he will be looking after his own life. His life is at stake also. Okay. He asks the meddlesome passengers to go back to their cabin and let the sailors. Now these people are so frightened that in fact they are disturbing the captain in his concentration and in his work. So the captain is getting angry with Alonso, even imagine, with Alonso the king. He go back to your cabins. Cabins are right underneath part of the ship. Says go back, relax. We are doing our best, because the more you people keep interfering with our work, the more you are unnerving us, and the more we are hindered in doing our work. So it will be best for you all to go back, calm down, let us do our work. So that is the captain's message to Alonso and his other people also there. Okay. So though Gonzalo, the old courtier, is fearful of sinking, he makes light of the situation by saying that the boatswain is not likely to be drowned because he is designed to be hanged. So Gonzalo, the counselor, is also with them there, and he is of the opinion, he is giving the lighter side of the story. He is giving a positive opinion that according to Gonzalo, he can see foresight that this particular captain ultimately is not going to die by drowning. Not going to die by drowning. He can see in the captain's face that he will ultimately die by being hung. Imagine. No one can make out by a face how you're going to die. But this is a play only, and Gonzalo is predicting that he is not going to drown. Now, how is this significant? This is significant because if the captain is not going to drown, that is meaning that the ship is going to be saved, and the people on the ship are also going to be saved. So this is a positive thought of Gonzalo, and this is all done on purpose to keep his master happy. Okay. So then he says, since he is not to be drowned, and with him aboard the ship can, since the captain is not going to be drowned, the people on the ship are also all going to be saved. So there is no fear of the ship sinking and the people on the ship being drowned. But this remark does not appeal to anyone. But no one is taking Gonzalo seriously. Neither the captain, neither Alonso is believing, because all of them are terrified and petrified at this present moment. Okay. In order to save themselves, the passengers begin to. Now the tempest, I'll also like to let you know, this tempest in reality was created out of magic. Prospero had ordered his spirit Ariel to go and create this tempest on purpose, so that the people on board this ship can be terrified to death. Now they are so terrified that ultimately they believe in their mind that they are not going to be saved. And the best option left in front of them was to jump into the sea and save their lives. And since they were close to the shore, they risked their lives, they took the chance, and one by one they began to jump into the sea. Okay. In order to save themselves, the passenger began to desert the ship for open waves of the sea. Gonzalo's words at the end of the scene, "This wills above be done, I would fain die a dry death," reflect a little hope for their survival. The last line, the last dialogue of Gonzalo in Act 1, Scene 1 gives a little positive notion to the end of the play. Not play, but Act 1 and Scene 1. So my dear children, this is your introduction. This is a brief summary for your Act 1, Scene 1. Next time onwards, we will start in detail to do the different scenes and the different acts. Okay, so till then, goodbye, God bless.